All right, my fellow agents, it is I, X7, your host of Zenorama, the podcast of heroes and monsters. And also, well, that includes wrestling. I'm also the co host of GD Explanations. We just put up a new video yesterday about Kung Fury, and it's pretty interesting and pretty fun. But today it is Wednesday. That means it's a book review day, and we are going to review this book from 2015. Is Wrestling Fixed? I Didn't Know It Was Broken. Lots of photographs and written by the legendary Bill Apter, who was an editor. Well, he just did a lot of stuff, and seems to be a truly, genuinely nice Person. And I'd love to meet him and get him to sign this book. He's been around for as long as I've been, 40 years in wrestling, and probably a little longer than that even. But so we're going to be talking about that. But before we get into it, please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Now, he goes into this book. Well, we'll get into that. Mostly it's old school wrestling, which is what I prefer, from up until maybe the mid 90s, probably. It can be fun still, but it's just not something I enjoy as much anymore. Now, having said all that, are you ready? Let's roll. All right, here's my book. It runs a whopping 280 pages, a little over that. There's the back. You'll see more of this. And many of the pictures here, not all of them. I do highly recommend it. If you grew up in the 80s, this is a book for you, watching wrestling, especially 80s. But it goes into the 70s when he started in the business. He talks about Andy Kaufman and Jerry Lawler. Jerry Lawler writes the foreword. And the book was written 10 years ago, published 10 years ago, 2015. 10 years. I've had it, I think, since 2018. My movie stub for Solo 3D was in it. Yes, I saw it. Yes, I enjoyed it. But again, I highly recommend it. Bill seems to have been friends with everyone from Lou Thez to some guy, Joey Styles, and Stone Cold. And I forget who this other one is. Oh, Triple H. Maybe he was still terrorizing, or what was his other name in WCW? Be that as it may, let's get into the rest of the review. So there's the cover. As you can see, it's been loved a bit. I haven't read it in a while, and it was enjoyable to go back through it again. I'd forgotten a lot of it. There it is. Most of it's in black and white, but there is a color section. Jerry the King Lawler wrote it, and then wrote the foreword. The disclaimer that Bill Apter, he's got a good sense of humor. You can find Bill on YouTube. I don't know if his podcast is still about, but he's still around. He still brings news and still talks to many wrestlers. Gets them to do old school promos. There he is with Larry Zbyszko, Terry Taylor, and the late, great Dusty Rhodes. The Bull of the Woods, if you will, baby. And I'm not sure if Abby's still alive, but that's him, Abby, bashing Bill's head in, because sometimes the wrestlers went after him. There's Bill's dad, looking just like him, with the Zambui Express I believe they were from Florida, yeah. This is how he got started. I learned of Bill from what are now known as the Apter mags. I keep saying Willa Apner because that's what Dusty Rhodes called him. But the Stanley Weston mags, which were tons of them. Pro Illustrated was the main one. Pro Wrestling Illustrated, PWI, which I enjoyed. And I did get quite into wrestling for about longer than I care to remember. Kind of wish I'd have held on to all those old magazines. There's Larry Holmes, a world champion Larry Holmes. There's Medusa. I put that in. That's a very early Medusa Michelli. I put that in there because of that, which is a very funny story. A lot of these. He writes, the chapters are story specific rather than they're not chronological. So he jumps around, but you can just open a chapter and read it and be like, oh, and it's there like 3 to 4 pages mostly. There's Medusa's book, and I do would like to get that. Her last name truly is Michelli, um, but Medusa was to capitalize on her Greek, I think it's Greek descent. But I would like to read that because I admire her greatly. There he is again with Larry Holmes and Bruno Sammartino, also a former world champion. Action shot, getting ready for more action, and taking a pie to the face. So obviously, I would assume Bill was a big fan of the Stooges as well. I don't know. We do know. We will see that he's a fan of Stan Laurel. And he's submitting figure 4 Lego. Wonderful Willie has the Heartbreak Kid in the figure 4. There is the late Nancy Benoit, aka Woman, which caused during a bit of a faux pas with the Macho Man himself. And he was around, that's I want to say early 84 when he won the belt from the Iron Sheik. And so there he is. That belt's almost as big as Willie. There's Professor Toru Tanaka. You've seen him in many movies as a very young man. Because look, Bill's got all of his hair. And I was older when I got into wrestling, thanks to my cousin Tuck. And I always enjoyed the put downs, especially Eddie Elner. I was never sure if they were real people, but apparently they were. And they got Bill into a lot of hot water here and there because of what they wrote. But they were heel columnists, which was a lot of fun to read. Just the things they would say about the baby faces were hilarious. I thought so. There's not enough Road Warriors in this book. That's all I'm going to say. But I think Bill took this picture himself, but I'm not sure. Early on, 84. Yeah, tag team. They won tag team of the year, I think 4 times. First 3 times in a row, and then finally when they turned heel again in 88 or 89, 88 probably. They weren't allowed to, but that's why I put that in there. So Road Warrior Apter. You can't see Animal is back there. There's Hawk. Animal's back here, but and there's him and his brother. And now we get to the color section with Billy's Place, broadcasting school. Your humble agent was in a CDC class for broadcasting. Still have my license to broadcast on radio. Not that you really need it with the web anymore. But there's 2 world champions, tough as nails, and 2 very different personalities. I would think that they wrestled a time or 2, but I don't know, and I'd love to see them because I just really enjoyed Nick Bockwinkel. And Harley, I just wouldn't mess with handsome Harley Race ever. See, they're both he and Dick Van Dyke are doing their best Stan Laurel faces. There's the original Nature Boy, Buddy Rogers, and his successor, not Buddy Landell, but Ric Flair. So, I mean, a lot of these people have passed on, and a lot of them have kind of fallen out of favor. Ric Flair, Hulk Hogan, I mean, in real life as opposed to their ring personas. There's Teddy DiBiase. Sorry, Tara. He doesn't have his glove on, though. Boy, Georgia Championship. And then he went to Japan. He just went everywhere. Billy Jack Haynes, or as Eddie Elner called him, Billy Jerk Haynes. I actually think the Brain called him that too. Boy, he's still alive. Kerry's gone. Terry Funk's gone. Barry, I don't know. Eddie Gilbert. Eddie Gilbert's gone. Nikita's still around. Nikita Koloff. It's Mil Mascaras. And then I don't know who else this is, but there's The young Undertaker there, pre 6,000 tattoos. Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah, there's Mike and Mike and Kevin's the only one left now. His sons are wrestling. Luke Fez, Steve Austin, not the $6 million man, the Stone Cold one. Now, this was a big deal when he left PWI. He even got it twice. So, yeah, if you watch his YouTube channel, you'll see Apter's Alley, and it's amazing. It's just, he's got memorabilia. I hope that he's figured out someplace to donate this to. There are other Hall of Fames, wrestling Hall of Fames, other than the WWE's version. There's Animal. See, I have to include some more Road Warriors here. We're getting close to the end, folks. And there's a very young Willie Apter. And look at how skinny, slender Captain Lou was, Lou Albano. I'm not sure who Mike Conrad is, but Crusher Verdue was also other people. And a very young Dwayne Johnson. I think he did all right for himself, and that's with Bill's son. I don't know who that is in the background. I just put this in there because you need some pros. Here he is, 1971, full head of hair, while he's watching Ivan Koloff defeat Bruno in the garden, which was huge, and surprised Ivan got out of there alive. And here's a story. See, the King has known Bill for a long time, and this is another hot water story he got into. But apparently Andre forgave him. Gee, many Christmas, look at the Giant. The Giant could do drop kicks back in the 70s or in the mid 70s. He was also Bigfoot with the original Steve Austin, the $6 Million Man. Another picture of him, and that would be Darius Rucker. That's one of the Blowfish. I don't know if he was Hootie or the Blowfish, but he also is an acclaimed country artist. I think they've reunited a couple times. Jim. Bill is a big music fan. He likes to sing. It's Susan Sexton. And there he is with Andy Kaufman, one of my favorite comedians, because he worked the whole country, and I'm still impressed by that. I love Mr. Wrestling 2 and Mr. Wrestling 2.5. And just, the caption's hilarious. So I don't know who did these drawings, if Bill did them or not, but it is all, WWF, and WWE centric, but that's okay. There's the wonderful Missy Hyatt and Bill and Craig Peters. I first saw them interviewing the Road Warriors and others on Georgia Championship Wrestling, even though it was still called, by 83, 84, it was called World Championship Wrestling, WCW. So that was, technically. Bill throwing a drop kick. I don't know who he is. Oh, Johnny Rod's World of Unpredictable Wrestling. That's a wrestling school. It's one of the oldest wrestling schools in the country. He's got a legend. Oh, Roddy Piper gave it to him. Roddy Piper's gone. Yokozuna, he's passed on. Jeez, look at the size of that man. Nick's passed on, but that's Bill's fiance, who was never really. I'm not a wrestling fan, but I'm sure she liked Nick because he was very erudite, which is one of the reasons I enjoyed him quite a bit. And there, apparently, you still can see him. The prototype himself, John Cena. Da 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 da. There's his podcast. It says coming soon. No, I don't know, but it's such a great title. If he's done, I know that he's on YouTube. I've interacted with him in the past, but not recently in the last 5 or 6 years, and I really should. But anyway, it's a very great book. It's not expensive. I don't know. Oh, this one. I don't know what it doesn't even say what it costs, does it? Well, you can still find it on Amazon. It's published by ECW Press, appropriately enough. The same thing, one that does Medusa's book. So there's the back of it with all the, Dwayne, Sting. So Stone Cold Animal was still alive then, I believe. Bill Goldberg, of all people. And you can get the ebook for free. I never did, alas. But tomorrow we will wrap up the Land of the Lost with the final 2 episodes and get on to our next live action one, which I am not 100% sure about. We'll find out together, probably. It might be a serial. So, having said all that, my fellow agents, until our next assignment, this is X7 signing off and phasing out. And enjoy the video that's following this, that is.
There's talk in the street, there's trouble coming down. Hawk and the animal are coming to town. Everybody's talking, they don't say a thing. But everybody knows what the warriors will bring. Any of the cruisers, you know will be there. The blasters from Chicago, you'll see them everywhere. If James Dean were alive, I know he'd be there tonight. Tonight! There's gonna be a rumble tonight! Cause we're the warriors, that's right. Gonna be some trouble tonight! Cause I'm Hawk and the animal, that's right! The asphalt jungle's a hot place to be. Warriors are coming, don't get caught in the streets. 1,000 eyes are watching everywhere. No one can stop us, nobody dares! Any of the cruisers, you know will be there. The blasters from Chicago, you'll see them everywhere. If James Dean were alive, I know he'd be there tonight. There's gonna be a rumble tonight. Cause we're the warriors, that's right. There's gonna be some trouble tonight. Cause I'm Hawk, I'm the animal, that's right.